Greetings, I'm Martin Crabtree from the Mercer County Community College Library. I'd like to talk a little bit about searching the ProQuest Central database. We're now out at the library's homepage, and over here in the quick links, databases by subject. That's how I'm going to get to the database right now. Click on the link here. I'm going to go into the general category right here. That's where ProQuest Central resides. It's a broad general coverage database. And it's the last one here on the list. We'll open it up. And with any sort of online search tool, I have a box I can put in my search terms. And I'll search for artificial intelligence. There are a few check boxes down here. I'll talk about those in a moment, but we'll execute our search and get our results up on the screen. And you can see over here on the left-hand side, I have over 2 million things to go through. That's a lot of stuff. We're going to do some things to narrow things down, focus some things on the kind of information you might need. Firstly, those 3 check boxes are also included right here, and I wanted to show how each one affects the results. Exclude wire feeds throws out a form of information called wire feeds, which is kind of like newspaper information, but it's really brief kind of information. And for your purposes for research, the information is just too short, too little for you to really find anything very useful. So we'll exclude all those, throw those all out of our way. And there are a lot of them. We threw out about 1 million things just by excluding those wire feeds. Also, we need information that we can view in its entirety. In some cases, because of contractual copyright reasons, full articles won't be available to you, just a summary or an abstract and nothing more. And we want full articles, so I'm going to check the full text box as well. That'll narrow things down a little bit further for us. The peer-reviewed box, if you needed scholarly research journals or peer-reviewed journals, sometimes they're referred to, that's not a mandate of this assignment, of this course. But if you find good information in these kinds of sources, great, you can certainly use them. Working our way down the list a little bit here, a few other things to look at. Firstly, the publication date here with the bar chart. The earliest time those words are used is in 1858. Yikes, well over 100 years ago. Way too old for what we're looking for. So what we can do is we could use the slider and go up by decades, but we're going to enter a date range because you're likely going to need a smaller window of time for the information you need. Often in this course, just the most recent 2 years. So for example, I can put in a 2-year range, say 2020 to 2022. We'll update it and it'll narrow things down for us. Again, our number is getting smaller. One of the tools you can use that if you watch some of the earlier videos and such are the quotation marks. Quotes lock words together. I want to see those words artificial intelligence side by side, right next to each other. If they're not next to each other, they're in separate pages, separate paragraphs, not a relevant hit. We'll execute the search here with the magnifying glass. And again, we've narrowed things down further. I can also add extra search terms and such to help focus in on what I'm looking for. And quite often, you should really read the entire topic that you're working with, because sometimes there's a focus to what you're looking for. In this case, we're looking for medical uses of artificial intelligence. So we'll throw in that word medical as well, and we'll narrow our search down even further. The last thing I want to point out here, source type. There are many types of information included in this database. And I'm going to go for more option right here. This will bring up this list of options here. And we can kind of pick and choose what we're looking for. And we could exclude some things that we don't want. In this case, I'm going to include what I think of as kind of the 3 major forms of database information often used in our college: scholarly journals, newspapers, and magazines. I do want to mention trade journals as kind of an almost number 4, particularly if your research focuses on specific businesses, industries, things like that. The trade journals may work well for you as well. In this case, we're not going to use that. We're going to apply that to our search as well. So we've narrowed our search down to a great extent, and we can start looking through our our list of results here. For example, we'll look at number 4 briefly, applications and current status of AI in the medical field. Sounds like a promising article. The little pop-up here for quick looks, if I click on this, brings up the abstract, the summary, what the article's about. I can read this and decide whether it's truly useful or not, save myself from having to read entire articles. Sometimes, particularly the scholarly journals, which this one is, can be kind of on the long side. If I like what I see, I can click here for the full article, and it brings up the article for me here. And from here, I can read the article on the screen if I so choose. The colored circles up here in kind of the upper right-hand side will allow us to manipulate the article if it's one we want to use for our assignment. If we wish to download it in the PDF format, we click on that link there, and we can step through the process to do that. You'll also need the citation in APA formatting, and clicking the cite link here will bring up the citation information. Please, folks, make sure that you are set to APA formatting. Databases don't necessarily default to the format that you need. There are many out there. Use the drop-down menu here, and we have APA 7th edition. The most current one right now is the 7th edition. That's what we want. We'll click on that. It redoes things, and now I have the citation. I can grab that, put it in my Word document, and add it to my references page. If I want to email the article myself, I can do that. I can print it out as well. And finally, the all options. I want to show this real quickly. It brings up a lot of the options, the one we saw before, some other things we can also use. But up here, there's kind of a couple links here. This is what's called a permalink, a permanent link. This link is a link you can copy and reuse and get back to this article. Please, folks, do not use the web address in your web browser. It will not work. It is a temporary web address for the current session that I'm working in, and once I leave the database, it will no longer be valid and will not work for me. So if you do want to save the web address, the link, use this permalink right here, and that will work for you. We can go back to our results here, and from here, I can work my way down further through the list of articles to find more information. So that's a bit about how to search and use the ProQuest Central database.